Today we're going to discuss the 7 foods you should be eating after you reach the age of 50. And of course, I'm almost there. I'm 49. I'm being very sarcastic. I'm 59. And I eat a lot of these foods I'm going to share with you. But I really want to talk about why you should be eating these foods first. Obviously, you want to eat foods that will help to extend longevity, right? So we should probably use a longevity expert. We're going to talk about Dr. David Sinclair. He's one of the leading experts on longevity. He actually studies these genes called sirtuins. Sirtuins basically are longevity genes. One of the things that will increase sirtuins is called NAD. NAD is inside your mitochondria converting food to energy and then pushing it down the assembly line till eventually it helps recharge a certain battery. As we age, our NAD goes down. At midlife, they're down like 50%. A lot of the anti-aging experts out there are educating people about boosting this NAD. There's a lot of supplements out there that help boost the NAD. People are getting injections. I think even David Sinclair came up with his own supplement. There's a whole bunch of drama on that, which I'm not going to get into. But all of those compounds have this basic derivative of where they come from. And that is plain old simple niacin, which is B3. Then the question is, why not just take more niacin? Niacin is so inexpensive. That's not the whole picture, but it's one piece of the puzzle. There are other reasons, and I'm going to get to those. But I first want to show you a very interesting book. Now, what does this book have to do with niacin? Well, let me explain. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, there was a disease that was rampant called pellagra. For many years, they thought it was an infection. But to make a long story short, it wasn't an infection. It was a man-made thing. They isolated it. It comes from consuming a diet of just corn. So apparently in corn, niacin, B3, is locked up. And so when you just mash this corn up and live on a diet of corn, which a lot of people did, you end up with pellagra. But wait a second. I thought corn has been around for a long time. Like the Aztecs consume corn products, and they, to our knowledge, didn't get pellagra. And that is because they used a special technique of adding lime, which is kind of a calcium carbonate, and they would soak their corn overnight. And this alkalized water allowed the niacin to be freed up. But of course, in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, they omitted that little step of adding lime. I want to show you another book. It's called Niacin, The Real Story. Fascinating book by an author named Dr. Abram Hoffer. He was also a biochemist. I want to read you the first line out of the first chapter. Many people have no idea how many illnesses are caused by too little niacin. And particularly, no one realizes how many diseases can be cured with mega doses of niacin. Now, Dr. Hoffer was one of the doctors who started the orthomolecular medicine group, where they use high doses of nutrients to create therapeutic dosage to correct all sorts of body problems. But in this book, they talk about how niacin is the building block, the precursor for the NAD, which is everything to do with allowing the mitochondria to work. Now that we have the basics down, now we need to talk about, why does NAD decrease as we age? I don't want to go into a lot of details on that, but I will just tell you one of the molecules is called C38 if you want to look it up. So as we get older, C38 increases and then our NAD goes down. So today we're going to talk about all the foods that can increase the NAD. So let's start with number 1. What will be the first one? Well, let's first talk about the food that has the most niacin. Okay, that would be very important as well, right? What food has the most niacin? If you look it up on ChatGPT, it will give you the incorrect answer. In fact, I had an argument with ChatGPT going back and forth because the first food that it gave me that has the most niacin was chicken. And I'm like, that's not true. The right answer would be beef liver. Okay. But number 2 is the food that they are telling you to avoid, which is really wild. And that would be grass-fed red meat. It's loaded not just with niacin, B3, but so many other of the B vitamins and so many other nutrients that can help you live a long, healthy life. Chicken is not at the top of the list, okay? Chicken is very high in omega-6 fatty acids. It's inflammatory. It's lower on the list, but it does have some niacin. But organ meats, red meat, okay? If you've been watching my channel, you know I recommend red meat for a lot of people, a lot of conditions. I consume it as the main protein in my diet for many reasons. And now you know one is just niacin, getting enough niacin. Now, some people are not going to eat organ meats or red meat. Well, then have nutritional yeast, okay? All right, number 3, foods that have probiotics or microbes, and that would be sauerkraut. And the reason sauerkraut is at the top of the list, and I'm talking about raw sauerkraut. Sauerkraut has a good amount of niacin. And if you can get the sauerkraut that is from the purple cabbage, you'll get even something better. And of course, certain types of yogurt, you really want to make sure you get a quality yogurt, or better yet, just make your own. Number 4, parsley. I personally don't like parsley, so I might have it as a spice, but also celery and even chamomile tea. And also as a side note, and this is not part of the list, sulforaphane in cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli sprouts and radish sprouts. So if you could put some of that on your salad, or even consume any of the cruciferous vegetables, you are going to get a good amount of sulforaphane to increase your NAD. And of course, cruciferous also do a lot of other things too. They can help you detoxify chemicals, and they do multiple additional things as well. Okay, next compound, and then we'll talk about the foods, is anthocyanins. Those would be in anything kind of blue and purple, okay, like blueberries, like blackberries, and purple cabbage, which I mentioned is part of the sauerkraut. And of course, you also have the grape as well, but they're a bit sweet. The blackberry and the blueberry are a little bit better, and the purple cabbage is also awesome. All right, next one on the list is curcumin from turmeric, okay? And I think that one of the best ways to consume that is through curries, okay? Curries. Unfortunately, a lot of the curries add so much sugar. So if you made a curry with certain types of grass-fed lamb, for example, that would be awesome, or even grass-fed beef, you would get exactly what you need. All right, number 6, we need to boost quercetin. Okay, and the food that has the most quercetin is onions. I live on onions. I consume onions on a daily basis with my eggs, with my red meat. And so you're going to get a lot of quercetin when you have onions. All right, and number 7, omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. And this food would be wild-caught salmon, but it's other things too. You can do any of the fatty fishes. You can also do what I like to do at least once a week or even twice a week, is consume cod liver in a can. Wild caught cod liver. I love it, but I'll just have the cod liver itself. But also there's so many other benefits with omega-3 fatty acids. You're going to help reduce inflammation. And also the cod liver oil has not just this omega-3 fatty acid, but it also has vitamin A and vitamin D. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.